Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Right now at 5, breaking records. Kern surpasses a big milestone over the weekend on the vaccine front. The record number of shots given in one day, plus the total number of vaccines given in Kern County. Plus students falling behind. Students continue to deal with a learning curve as a result of the pandemic, and grades are plummeting. How to tell if your child is struggling and the 3 signs to look out for. And bridges to broadband, a look at President Biden's infrastructure plan, plus the concerns Republicans have on how to pay for it. Today is Monday, April 5th, 2021. And good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Gitsky in for Maddie Jansen.
And I'm Alex Fisher. Good morning, Nicole. And Nicole, you'll join us in just a bit with more news. First, though, we are talking about your forecast, and guess who's back? Kevin Charette is back in studio. Kind of a weird sight to see, Kev, you back in studio. But hey, it is great to see you this morning.
Yeah, this is the first time in almost a year that I've been in studio. I've been in a few times, so let's see if I can remember how all these buttons, wheels, and how it all kind of works. But we are going to start out with some breaking news out of Los Angeles this morning because earthquake just struck the area not long ago. So let's show you the details on that before we get to weather this morning. It wasn't a big one, 4.0 magnitude now. It's been downgraded a little bit. It's about a mile east-northeast of Lenox, California. You can see the epicenter right here between Los Angeles and Long Beach. So if you have family or friends there, they might have felt this small little tremor this morning. And when we talk about heat, I wanted to talk about Friday as well. We hit 90 degrees. The old record we talked about it was 90 set back in 1944. And now this is the warmest day of the year so far. Taking you outside, not much to show you. We've got clear skies, 55 degrees right now, a light wind out of the north at 3 miles per hour. As we take a look at your day, lots of sunshine, and we're going to be looking at some 70s, 74 degrees by 3 o'clock, and then for the mountains this morning. We are going to be a little bit breezy as we go throughout the day, 46, a west-northwest wind at 12 right now, and as we take a look at the wind profile, you can see some of these winds out in the Mojave Desert right now. Throughout the afternoon, we'll continue to see those winds into the mountains and over the Grapevine. As we take a look at the watches and warnings, there's a wind advisory until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And hour by hour here, lots of sunshine along with that wind, and temperatures expected in the lower 60s. I'll have much more in your forecast. That's coming up in just a little bit. For now, back over to you.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Your time now is 5:02, and we are still learning how deadly coronavirus was during the winter surge. Current Public Health confirmed an additional 5 new deaths yesterday, although those people died earlier this year from COVID-19. Current Public Health also announced 40 new cases. New state data shows there are 57 people in the hospital with coronavirus and 18 are in the ICU. So far, nearly 1,300 people have died from the virus here in Kern County. Health officials say most of these recently reported deaths are a result of the surge that we saw following Christmas and New Year's. More than 100 photos have been uploaded to KGET's gallery honoring those we've lost to COVID-19, and we want to continue to hear your stories. You can upload your photos and a message to Those We've Lost gallery. You can also see photos and read the stories of others who have been victims of this pandemic. The gallery can be found on our website, kget.com. The good news is that the vaccine rollout here at home continues to increase, with state data showing Kern County has distributed more than 300,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. On Friday, Kern County administered a high mark of more than 9,000 shots. That is 1% of people in Kern County receiving a shot in just one day. More than 8,000 vaccines were given on Thursday. Governor Gavin Newsom visited the mass vaccination site at CSU Bakersfield on Friday, where he praised CSUB, Kaiser Permanente, Adventist Health, and Dignity for their work in operating that vaccination site. Newsom called it one of the finest vaccination sites he has seen throughout the state. Appointments to receive the COVID-19 vaccine are available for this week at Cal State Bakersfield. Anyone who meets eligibility requirements is encouraged to sign up ahead of time. But the university says walk-ups will also be accepted. The site is open 7 days a week. You can sign up for a vaccine appointment using the state's website, myturn.ca.gov. You can also call 833-422-4255 to schedule an appointment. Eligibility for COVID-19 vaccines continues to expand, with California residents age 50 and older who are now eligible to sign up for the shot. And in just 10 days, on Thursday, April 15th, everyone in the state who is 16 and older will be eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. And just remember, anyone who lives with someone who qualifies for a vaccine right now is eligible right now as well. And a reminder, people 16 and older now qualify for the vaccine in the vast majority of Kern County. There are some exceptions, though. Those under 50 and living in the six zip codes that are on your screen, those are not eligible under the new criteria. Those six zip codes are displayed on your screen. For more information, just head to our website, kget.com. Adventist Health Bakersfield is offering free childhood immunizations against vaccine-preventable diseases all throughout this month. Today from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m., Adventist Health will host a clinic in the parking lot of Food Max on Ming Avenue. And then another on Wednesday from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m., the parking lot of the Kern County Department of Human Services. Before attending one of the clinics, you're asked to call 869-6740 for instructions on how to make an appointment. Studies show education was one of the most dramatically hit sectors by COVID-19. School quickly transitioned, leaving students to not only have to learn their regular education plans, but also how to navigate school virtually. 17's Ileana Capian joins us now as students prepare to return to school tomorrow following spring break here locally. Ileana?
That's right, Alex. Since the start of the pandemic, students' learning curve has been a topic of concern. And unfortunately, new studies show that some students have fallen behind.
It's been an interesting year for everyone, to say the least.
Interesting is one of the more positive ways people have chosen to describe the past year in education. Dalia Navarro is the local owner of Sylvan Learning and has seen firsthand the effects the pandemic has had on learning. She calls the effects the COVID slide.
Research is showing students are now 3 months behind. And I know that may not seem like a lot, but considering the pace of a normal classroom, that equates to about 2 to 3 years before students are going to catch up.
Typically, a student's education suffers from summer learning loss. But because of the disruptions brought on by COVID-19 last year, the learning loss could impact fundamental lessons needed for the next grade.
Chances are, if they were struggling before COVID, then they've only suffered a greater learning loss during this time. The educational skill gaps have likely grown during that time.
Navarro says it's important to recognize if your child is struggling in school. Some signs to be on the lookout for are lower grades on a report card, changes in attitude towards learning in school, and excessive time spent on schoolwork and assignments. If you do notice any of these signs, the best thing to do is get help as quickly as possible.
Part of the way that we are able to identify what the students' needs are is with our Sylvan Insight Assessment. And our Sylvan Insight Assessment allows us to pinpoint and identify the exact skills that a student needs. And it's also such a great tool in customizing that program, and again, back to identifying whether or not a student is really behind, or are they just 2020 behind or COVID slide affected.
Sylvan suggests a few tips to help keep your children on track, including reading at least 20 minutes per day with them or having them read to you for 20 minutes per day, creating educational games and flashcards, and creating everyday learning experiences from things like cooking and baking. In downtown Bakersfield, Ileana Capian, 17 News.
In just a few hours, the focus of Minneapolis and much of the rest of the country will turn back to the murder trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin. The first week of the high-profile case was defined by tense and very emotional testimony. But in just a few hours, as things get underway, we could see a shift inside the courtroom. Jay Gray has the details.
Are you familiar with the
As week 2 of this trial begins, legal observers expect prosecutors not to stray too far from the shocking cell phone video at the core of their case.
There's never an indication of any threat, any struggle that he makes, particularly in the final minutes of the video. That's helpful for the prosecution. So they want the jury to continue viewing the video as many times as the court permits them to play it.
Oh my God.
The images have been overwhelming for many of the witnesses to this point.
I do.
There were no tears as week one ended on Friday. Lieutenant Richard Zimmerman, the most senior officer at the Minneapolis Police Department and a homicide detective on the case, telling jurors he's never been trained to put his knee across the neck of a suspect and that the tactics used by Derek Chauvin and other officers that day were
totally unnecessary.
Good morning, Lieutenant Zimmerman.
Challenged by the defense during cross-examination, Zimmerman acknowledges that the use of force is contingent on the threat perceived by the officer on the ground.
Minneapolis Police Department policy allows a police officer to use whatever means are available to him to protect himself and others, right?
Yes.
As the trial resumes today, we expect to hear continuing testimony from members of the Minneapolis Police Department.
A motorcyclist has been seriously hurt in a hit-and-run crash in northeast Bakersfield. CHP says the crash happened just before 10 a.m. on Saturday when a Ford Mustang ran into a motorcycle in the area of Niles Street and Glenwood Drive. Officers say they found the motorcyclist was transported the motorcyclist to a hospital for treatment of major injuries. CHP says the driver of the Mustang fled the area on foot after the crash.
Good news for our local roadways. Kern County is receiving a total of $2.7 million from Caltrans to fund pedestrian safety projects. Now, Caltrans awarded $1.3 million to the county to upgrade stripping and guardrails, improving the safety of the curve on Wheeler Ridge Road and more. Caltrans said the county is also getting $375,000 to upgrade about 27 miles of bike lane stripping over 22 miles of roadway. The city of Bakersfield plans to upgrade signal heads at Beale Avenue and Monterey Street, as well as Beale Avenue and Niles Street. The city says it will also install pedestrian flashing beacons at the crosswalk on Old Farm Road in front of the Veterans Elementary School and the crosswalk on Mountain Vista Drive in front of Earl Warren Junior High School. And city officials are planning to hold a press conference today to discuss the impact of the community from the high-speed rail project and the lack of response to concerns they brought to those in charge of the project. Now, those issues include severe noise impact to the Arabian Estate and Ash Village neighborhood just north of Highway 58, according to officials. The press conference is scheduled for 1 p.m. at the intersection at Capitol Hills Parkway and Challenger Drive. Tehachapi Mayor Philip Smith and City Manager Greg Garrett will speak at the event. Public comments can be made to the California High-Speed Rail Authority by calling 866-300-3044 or emailing the address on your screen.
Making headlines around the state this morning, hundreds of people gathered last night to attend a vigil for victims of a mass shooting in Orange that took the lives of 4 people. 4 large photos of the victims lined a chain-link fence in front of the office building where the shooting unfolded on Wednesday. Some of the approximately 200 people in attendance stood in front of the photos and hugged and kissed them. Candles were later lit in honor of the victims. As the crowd swelled, so did the items in front of the photos. Flowers, candles, notes, and pictures were placed on the fence, and some were laid on the ground. Police say the 44-year-old suspect was wielded a Glock semi-automatic handgun, handcuffs, and pepper spray when he entered the building. He is charged with multiple counts of murder and attempted murder.
Welcome back. Spring is here and the weather is great to get out on the green. 17's Raquel Vega has the details on a golf tournament fundraiser.
Links for Life is getting ready to tee off their annual golf tournament, and joining me now is Jennifer Henry, the Executive Director of Links for Life. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. It's good to see you. So tell us about the golf tournament. How can people sign up if they're itching to get back on the green?
Oh, go to linksforlife.org and click on events, and it's right there. And then you can see all the different sponsorship levels and sign up to participate in the tournament. We're so excited to be having our event this year and seeing everybody and out on the greens. I mean, we missed last year, so let's get this going again.
Yeah. So how can people sign up? Is there a deadline that people need to know about if they want to register?
Well, they need to get on because we have a few spots left, a few teams left. So go to linksforlife.org and sign up there and get your teams going. I would say probably within the next 2 weeks we will fill. So sign up now.
Yeah, waste no time if you're interested in doing that. And so tell us a little bit about Links for Life. How is money raised going to help women battling cancer in Kern County?
Links for Life was started 29 years ago by 10 passionate women who wanted to give back. We supplied mammograms, ultrasounds, and needle biopsies to women who are underinsured or not insured. We have 2 wig boutiques for women facing hair loss, and they can make an appointment, come in, we'll fit them. We'll take 20 minutes to 2 hours, depending on where they are in their treatment and in their mind state. And then we also started a grocery cart program for women in active breast cancer treatment. They can receive up to 4 $100 gift cards for grocery stores. And they have to attend a class with a registered dietitian, and then they meet with our patient advocate, and they learn about our programs and services, and then we'll keep in contact to see how they're doing, if there are other needs that they are facing, and we'll connect them in the community.
Well, Links for Life really has obviously been doing some great work in the community for so many years, and it's nice that people can have a little fun while they're contributing back to Links for Life. So, all right, we will post all the details on how you can sign up for the tournament at kget.com. So head there and click on the link. Thanks for joining us this morning, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule. The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.